and I am back, and I'm here with a quick get ready with me video featuring this look. It's a very simple dark chocolate smoky eye with a pop of color on the lower lash line, and it ties in with my necklace. I am headed out for Easter Sunday, so this is the look that I am wearing for Easter Sunday. So if you want to see how I achieve this look, then stay tuned and I'll talk to you soon.
Hello there guys. So I'm starting off with a fresh face, and the first thing I'm going to start out with are my brows. So I'm applying my eyeshadow primer around my brows, and any clear or transparent primer that dries matte will work for this. I'm just laying that down so we have a nice base for our eyebrow products. And for my brow pencil today, I'm using my favorite. This is the Brow Beater pencil from Urban Decay in the shade Neutral Brown. And as usual, I'm just going to outline my brows with this pencil to create my defined shape. And I think you guys are okay with me speeding through this process now since I've shown it so much. And if you want to see a complete step-by-step tutorial, I do have one linked down below in the description box. And now I'm just going in with my flat top Paula eye definer brush just to distribute some of that pencil through my brows and to fade out the harsh lines. And then I'm going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo in the shade Ebony, and I'm just going to fill in some of those sparse areas through my brow with some of the lighter shade in this duo. And this is just going to give us a more natural look to our brows versus the pencil. Now I'm going to go in with my eyeshadow primer of choice, and this is my Smashbox Photo Finish 24-Hour Shadow Primer. I love this primer. This and the MAC Prep and Prime 24-Hour Eyeshadow Base. I just love them for my eyeshadow primer to help prevent creasing. And while that sets up, I'm going in with my Clinique Pore Refining Solutions Correcting Serum, and I'm just going to apply that all over my skin. And this is a serum treatment that acts as a moisturizer for me. I don't need any added moisturizer when I use this, and it also acts as a foundation base, which I really like. I really like that this little serum a lot. And I'm also going to go in with my Eye Duty Triple Remedy from First Aid Beauty under my eyes. Again, this is another treatment product. This is the shade Medium Deep, and I'm just applying that right under my eyes to help depuff and brighten that under eye area. And it's also going to act as a primer somewhat for my concealer and my foundation that I apply in that area. So I'm just tapping that out with my fingers just to blend it into the skin. Next, I'm grabbing my Radiant Creamy Concealer from NARS, and this is the shade Caramel. I'm just applying that directly under my brows, and this is going to act as a highlight for the underbrow area, as well as conceal any of those very fine peach fuzz type hairs that I didn't grab while tweezing and grooming and cleaning up my brows. And I'm going to just create that sharp line using an Anastasia number 18 brush. And this is going to clean up the shape of the brows as well and give it that crisp, defined outline. Then I'm going to go in and blend out the edges of the concealer using a Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush just to soften that concealer a bit and to absorb some of the extra product and blend a little bit over our lids. Then I'm going in with my MAC Laying Low Paint Pot. This is just a beigey base that we're going to apply all over our lids to prep our lids for the eyeshadows that we're going to apply. And I'm just going to buff this all over my lids using that same Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. This base also cancels out any veins or any discoloration that I may have on my lids that may affect the application of eyeshadow. So it will affect the color of the eyeshadow itself. So I'm canceling out any of that darkness that I may have. Now I'm going in with a transition shade. I'm using the M650 Cookie shade from Makeup Forever, which is just a matte caramelly brown shade. And I'm applying that in my crease area using my IT Cosmetics number 119 all over shadow brush, and I'm just laying down a transition blending area so we have a nice seamless area to blend our eyeshadows out with. Since I'm using dark shades, I want to have something as a buffer zone or a blend-in zone so that my eyeshadows blend seamlessly in the crease area. I'll also grab the shade M660 Speculous, which is a touch darker than the Cookie shade, and apply it to the outer V area and outer crease. And this is just going to help build up dimension. Again, we're going to use dark shades on our lids, so I like to build up a baseline for our smoky eye, and this is giving us just a little bit of dimension. Since it's a little darker, it builds up a little bit of shading in that outer V, outer crease area. Now we're going to start out the smoky eye with this dark shade. It's the M620 Gray Brown shade from Makeup Forever, and I'm using a Cosette blending brush with this. And again, we're just going to build up dimension, so I'm starting in the outer V, outer crease area with this shade, and it's just a matte gray tone brown like the name suggests. It's a nice rich shade, and it's great for building up dimension, especially if you're going to use dark shades, because it's not an ultra dark shade. It's not a black, but it does give you that definition to start out with and that shading. And I'm just building up that color a little at a time. I'm adding a little bit of product and blending as I go ahead. I'm not going full on in with full pigmentation at once. I'm just slowly building up the crease area so that I get the dimension that I want, but it still looks nice and blended. Now I'm grabbing the shade S622 Black Brown, which is a satin shade, and this is just a deeper, rich gray toned brown. It's a blackened brown, but it looks a little bit more like a charcoal brown shade. And I'm going to apply that using a Real Techniques number 200 brush from the Bold Metals collection, and I'm just going to pop that directly on my lid. And this shade, again, it's not a fully black shade, so it's great to build up a smoky eye rather than going in with a straight black shade. This one is a little bit more subtle, a little bit more wearable for every day, and most people can get away with using this shade. So I really love it for a smoky eye. And I'm just going to go ahead and keep building up that color. I'll wipe off my brush and go around the edges just so we can blend as we go along, so we don't have any harsh lines that we have to blend out at the end. And I'm making sure I get along my lash line area. I'm really trying to build up the depth. And I almost wish I didn't use the Lane Low paint pot, because it didn't give me as much color payoff as I wanted if I just used this directly over the Smashbox primer. Anyway, I'm going in now with the shade Espresso from Makeup Forever, which is M618, and it's just a matte blackened brown shade, and I'm blending this out in the outer V area with a blending brush. And again, it's a matte shade, so I'm using it in the crease or in the outer V to build up dimension, and a matte shade is best for this. And like I said, somehow things weren't working out. I think it was the Lane Low paint pot that wasn't letting me be great, because these colors perform well over other bases, but for some reason they were almost creasing a little bit and not trying to build up as much as I wanted them to. In the end, it worked out, but I feel like the Lane Low paint pot, maybe mine is getting a little bit old or something, but this one, it wasn't, you see, it wasn't working well for me. So I think I'm going to need to swap out my Lane Low paint pot for a new one, or use a different base when it comes to my Makeup Forever eyeshadows. Next, I'm going in with the shade M532 Sugar Coated Candy, which is just a matte ivory shade, and I'm going to use this as a highlight beneath my brows. And it's just a creamy ivory, like I said. I'm going to apply that using my MAC 252 brush. Because it's a lighter shade, you want to apply very little and then blend it downwards. And it does blend in very nicely with my skin tone if I just use very little. So it works out as a very nice highlight. Then I'm going in with the shade S556 Taupe Gray, which is just a light silvery gray taupe shade, and I'm going to pop that on my inner tear duct area using a pencil brush. And this is going to act as our highlight on the inner tear duct. I didn't want to go too light or icy because it looks a little stark on smoky eyes, so I thought that would be a good color. And then I'm going in with the crystalline gray beige shade, which is D552, and just popping that directly over that taupe shade. So it's going to add a little brightness to the shade, but without making it an icy shade, which this shade can get icy by itself. So applying it over this gray shade brightens up the gray shade, but doesn't make it too icy or too overwhelming on that inner tear duct area. And I'm just blending it in with the lid shade. I'm going to go in with a blending brush just to make sure everything blends together and flows nicely. I don't want any stark, harsh lines. Now I'm going under my eyes just on my inner tear duct area to clean up some of that darkness where it went a little bit too far. I don't want to look too dark on my under eye area. And then I'm going in with my Estee Edit primer. This is the pore eraser, and I'm just applying that to my T-zone area and specifically on my cheeks where I have enlarged pores, and just warming the product up and blending it out using my fingers. And this primer, I actually like it quite a lot. I have a deluxe sample, that's what you saw, and I went ahead and got the full size because I've been enjoying it quite a lot. Now I'm going in with a corrector shade. This is from Cover FX, and it's just their Correct and Click shades, and the shade is orange. It's a creamy product, but it's not overly creamy, so it moves nicely, it blends nicely, but it doesn't get overly creasy, especially on my oily skin. And I'm just going to blend that out using a pointed foundation brush from Stila. This is the number 33 brush, and I'm just blending this around my mouth area where I have some darkness, and directly under my eyes, and definitely on my inner tear duct area because I have a lot of darkness under there, and especially with a dark smoky eye, you don't want that darkness to show through under your foundation. So I'm just applying that corrector shade to diminish some of that. Now I'm going in with the Milani foundation. This is the 2-in-1 foundation. It is the Conceal and Perfect, and this is the shade 11 Amber, and I'm just going to blend that over my skin using the Phase 3 brush from Marc Jacobs just to buff that over my skin. And I really like how this foundation applies. I've been enjoying it the last couple of times I've been wearing it. It's a thicker foundation. It does definitely feel heavier on the skin because it's a 2-in-1. If it's a concealer and a foundation in one, that means it's going to be heavier coverage. It's going to be full coverage. So it does feel heavier on the skin, but it's not too heavy where I feel cakey or just really overdone. It's not the most uncomfortable foundation, but you definitely do feel it on your skin, and it applies nicely, blends in nicely. And the shade match, they have deeper shades, but they're just available online, which is a pain in the ass to actually match your skin. Not only is it a pain in the ass when you don't have swatch-in products in the drugstore, but now you have to order it online. So I just lucked out and ordered a couple of shades just because it's cheaper, so I did get a pretty decent shade match. And I'm going to set everything down using my Urban Decay Naked Skin Ultra Definition Powder Foundation. This is the shade Medium Dark Golden, and I'm going to pounce that over my skin using this new foundation brush from Sephora. It's a Sephora collection. It's the Pro Press Full Coverage Complexion brush number 66, and it has a teardrop shape. It's a larger teardrop. They have a concealer version as well, and I'm just using it just in under my eyes, around my nose. It buffs things in really nicely, so I'm going to keep using it and see what I think about it. And now I'm going to go in with my Tarte Powder Player brush just to finish setting my skin and going over larger areas of my skin with this powder. I love this powder foundation so much. I don't use a ton of it. You think I'm using a lot, but I'm not using a ton of it. It just sets everything in place really nicely, adds a little bit of a blurring effect as well. So I really, really love this powder. Now I'm going to set everything in place using my Makeup Forever Mist and Fix Setting Spray. I'm just going to spritz this over my skin, not because I'm trying to set everything in place, but I'm trying to remove that powderiness from the foundation that we just applied. Now I'm going in with my Estee Lauder Little Black Primer to my lashes. This is just going to prep our lashes for the mascara that we're going to apply shortly. And of course, for my mascara, I'm using my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I mean, what else would I use at this point? I love this mascara. It's my favorite mascara of all time. If you haven't tried it out yet and you're into full voluminous lashes, then here's one for you. It is my ultimate favorite mascara. And I just go ahead and build up a few layers of this because I absolutely love it. And then for my lower waterline, I'm going in with my ColourPop Cream Gel Eyeliner Pencil in the shade Bee Sting? That's the name. It is a beautiful marine blue shade. It's so gorgeous. I absolutely love this color, and it's actually really great on the waterline. I highly recommend checking out some of these pencils. I haven't tried the ones in the pots. I've just tried the pencil ones, and they are great. So I'm just applying that to my waterline, and you can see how vivid that color is. Now I'm going in with the shade M216 Electric Blue from Makeup Forever on a MAC 242 small shader brush just to buff it on the lower lash line, just to tie that blue color in. I'm trying to smoke it out a little bit, blend out the edges so it doesn't look as stark and it looks all tied together with the smoky eye. And I really love doing this technique because it kind of adds some va-va-voom and some fun to a typical smoky eye. So it's not just, oh, look at me, I'm just a simple smoky eye. No, I'm fun, I have a pop of color. So try it out. If you're afraid of color, this is a great way to wear color. Just pop a color on your lower lash line or on your waterline and pull your look together. It really works. And now I'm going in with my lower lash mascara. This is the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara, which is just my perfect lower lash mascara. And a couple of people have asked me why I do mascara before I do lower lash line color. Well, here I'm doing it in reverse. I'm doing my lower lash color before I do my mascara. And there's no rhyme or reason, honestly. I just do it in whatever order I feel at the moment. Now I'm going in with my blush. This is the Laura Geller Vivid Swirl blush in the shade Guava. This is a baked blush, and I'm just popping that on my cheeks using my Zoeva blush brush, and I'm blending it out. And this is an intense blush, but it's the formula lends to great blendability. It makes it really blendable, and you can really make it soft and match up with your skin. Even though it's a bright color, it blends out beautifully, and I really love these blushes. Like, I can't tell you how much I love them. Now I'm going in with my Marc Jacobs contour color. This is the shade number 60, which is High 5 Filter, and I'm just blending that in my contour area using my contour brush from Chanel, and I'm also applying a little bit of this to my hairline and temple area. And then I'm grabbing my contour duo brush from Tarte and just applying a little bit of this along my nose just to add a little bit of definition. Nothing too crazy, and I make sure I blend it out because I don't want it to look too harsh or intense. And for my lips, I'm going in with one of these Makeup Forever sculpting pencils. This is number 11, and I'm just going to apply this all over my lips, and I really love the shade. It's a light pinky shade, but then I was sent this color, so I didn't have to actually pay for it, and then I went and saw the price of these. These are $27. I don't think they're necessarily worth that price, to be honest with you. It's a very beautiful lip color. I love the concept of it, but I feel like they're very high-priced colors. You can probably get away with using just any lip color you have in your collection with a little bit of highlight powder. And then I'm topping it off with my NARS Dolce Vita lip gloss. Like I said, this Makeup Forever lip pencil, gorgeous shade. They're really comfortable, easy to wear, but I feel like you can achieve it with any lip color you have, just a matte or a satin lip color and a little bit of powder. I just don't think you need to spend $27 on that product itself. You can achieve it with things you have in your collection. Now I'm grabbing the Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the shade Gleam, and I'm grabbing the shade Hard Candy and Starburst on my MAC highlight brush, and I'm just popping that on the high points of my cheeks and blending it in. And I'm grabbing a little bit of the Hard Candy shade and just popping it on the bridge of my nose to add a little highlight to that area. Nothing too intense or crazy because I do have oily skin, so I don't need to be shining like a diamond. I just need very little of this shade. I'm also going to pop some of this just on the high points of my brows just to add a highlight, since we did use pretty much all mattes on the eyes. Now I'm going to finish up the look by applying brow gel to my brows. This is the brow gel from Urban Decay in the shade Dark, and that is going to finish up the look, and I absolutely love how this turned out. It's such a fun and simple look, and I tell anyone to try this out. Just do a simple smoky eye with a pop of color. This look turned out great. It really popped. It looked great with my dress, and it was daytime wearable because it wasn't a full-on black smoky eye. It was a dark brown kind of espresso smoky eye. So absolutely love how it turned out, and the lips paired beautifully with my dress. It was a subdued pink, so it really worked out well.
Alright guys, so that completes the look. Hopefully you enjoyed this get ready with me video and picked up some tips and tricks along the way. And as usual, I'll leave a full list of the products used down below in the description box, so if you missed anything, definitely check down there. And there's also info on what is on my nails. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye guys!